Hello and welcome to the Target UPSC Prelims 2024 series, and this is the current affairs program. And in today's video, the topic that we will be discussing today is of environment and geography, national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, and this is the episode 5 of geography and environment. So let's begin. The first topic for today is the Gir National Park. So wherever we listen to the topic of Gir National Park, what comes to our mind is Gujarat. So, why is it in news? The impact of the cyclone Biparjoy was seen in the forest of Kutch and Gir of Gujarat. So, Kutch and Gir both belongs to Gujarat. And this raised concerns over the Great Indian Bustard and Gir Asiatic lions. So, this has brought the focus on two animal species of first is the bird of Great Indian Bustard and second is the Gir Asiatic lions. And the Gir forest is home to approximately 700 Asiatic lions which are found only in this region. So the Asiatic lions are found only in India and they are found only in the Gir National Park and are an important species for conservation, as only 700 are left in number, so the conservation needs to be done and their protection needs to be done. So if we will look at the map of Gujarat, so this is the map of Gujarat. So Gir National Park this is the area of the Gir National Park and it lies to the southern Gujarat. Then shares its border with the Indian Ocean. Next comes about the Asiatic lion. See this image? Asiatic lion. Then it is also known as Persian lion or Indian lion. Then it belongs to the Panthera leo subspecies which is found only in India. So the Panthera leo subspecies is found only in India. Asiatic lions are slightly smaller than the African lions. So African lions are larger in size and Asiatic lions as compared to their size is smaller. And there was a time when Asiatic lions were found in West Bengal in the east and Rewa in Madhya Pradesh in central India. But now they are restricted only to the Gir National Park of Gujarat. Now they are not found in Rewa of Madhya Pradesh or in West Bengal. Then currently Gir National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary is the only habitat of the Asiatic lion. Now this is an important point, that Gir is both national park and wildlife sanctuary. So it is both national park and wildlife sanctuary, and if we talk about the habitat of Asiatic lion, then it is the only habitat of the Asiatic lion. Now about the conservation status, important point to remember from exam perspective. So the conservation status of Asiatic lion is the IUCN red list status is endangered. If we talk about the sites, then it comes under Appendix 1 and Wildlife Protection Act 1972, it comes under the Schedule 1. So it talks about that the Asiatic lions need highest degree of protection. So they require highest degree of protection so that their number does not fall down. Now about the Gir National Park. So it is located in the Junagadh district of Gujarat. You must remember the name of the state, that Gir National Park is associated with Gujarat. It was declared a sanctuary in the year 1965 and a national park in the year 1975. So first it was declared a wildlife sanctuary and then it was upgraded to become a national park within a span of 10 years. So Gir forest is a dry deciduous forest in the semi-arid western part of India. So the western part of India with regard to Rajasthan and Gujarat, so it is not completely arid, you can say it is semi-arid. So these are the semi-arid areas and the type of forest is the dry deciduous forest. And Gir is often associated with the Maldharis who have survived for ages by having a symbiotic relationship with lions. It means that they live in symbiotic relationship with lions, that they are able to survive in the same ecosystem as lions and they both have a symbiotic relationship. It means they both are living they both are living together nicely. So the name of the tribe you can say is Maldharis. Then about the Great Indian Bustard. So the Great Indian Bustard is the state bird of Rajasthan. Important point that the Great Indian Bustard is the state bird of Rajasthan, and this Great Indian Bustard is, you will see that you will always find in news, and specifically with regard to their conservation. So see this image, Great Indian Bustard. So the Great Indian Bustard is the state bird of Rajasthan, and it is considered to be the most critically endangered bird of India. Most is the point that you need to focus on. Most critically endangered bird of India. This species prefers mainly grassland, which represent grassland ecology. So you will find them to be present in an area which has huge and big grassland. Then its maximum population is limited to Rajasthan and Gujarat. So even though it is the state bird of Rajasthan, but it does not mean that it is found only in Rajasthan. It is found in other states also, like Rajasthan, Gujarat, and a certain part of Maharashtra. Then, however, this species is found in small numbers in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. So this tells us that apart from Rajasthan and Gujarat, they are found in other states also. Now about the conservation status of the Great Indian Bustard. Then the IUCN Red List is critically endangered. Very, very important point. You should remember this. Can be asked in examination. Then CITES comes under Appendix 1, CMS comes under Appendix 1, and then Wildlife Protection Act 1972 comes under Schedule 1. It means that it also needs the highest degree of protection. So they also require the highest degree of protection. So CMS stands for the Conservation of Migratory Species. So this was about the Great Indian Bustard. Now next comes the wild ass sanctuary. So the wild ass sanctuary, look at this image. They are also very, very particular to the region in which they are found. So they are also found in a very particular region. And the wild ass sanctuary, so recently the salt pan workers, as the name itself is telling, that they are associated to the production of salt. So recently the salt pan workers had submitted a memorandum to the Chief Minister of Gujarat. In this, the salt pan workers sought intervention in response to the Forest Department's instructions restricting their entry into the Little Run of Kutch. So the salt pan workers' entry has been restricted in the Run of Kutch, and with regard to it, they are in talking terms with the Chief Minister of Gujarat. The Koli, Sandhi, and Miana. So these three communities, that is the Koli, the Sandhi, and the Miana communities living in villages around the Run of Kutch in northern Gujarat, Kutch and Saurashtra region are dependent on salt manufacturing. So the Kutch region and the Saurashtra region are dependent on the salt manufacturing. One of the reason being that they are the semi-arid areas. Temperatures are higher there. So the salt manufacturing is one of the ways through which they found a source of living for themselves. They are called salt pan workers. Now about the wild ass sanctuary. So the Little Run of Kutch was declared a wild ass sanctuary in the year 1972. So look at this image. This is the area of Gujarat. This is Gir National Park, and if we talk about the Run of Kutch, so this is the area of Run of Kutch. Shares border with the Arabian Sea. So the Run of Kutch was declared as a wild ass sanctuary in the year 1972, and it is situated in the Little Run of Kutch in Gujarat. So the state is Gujarat. It is the only place it is also the only place. Like we talked about the Asiatic lions, Gir National Park, only place. So the wild ass sanctuary is the only place where the Indian wild ass is found, which is also called mule in the local language. So mule is also a term which you will find many a times written in the newspapers or in the news articles. So mule is the term which is given or which has been talked about with regard to the local language, and this is the only place where the Indian wild ass is found. The sanctuary is home to a large population of the Rebari and Bharwad tribes. So the tribes which are found in this sanctuary is Rebari and Bharwad. Now about the Indian wild donkey. The Indian wild donkey. So it is a subspecies of Equus hemionus. Equus hemionus. See the image? So you will be able to recognize it. Then it is characterized by distinctive white markings on the front part of the tail. So the tail that they have, so there is a white marking on the tail and back of the shoulder and a stripe down the back which is white in color. So these wild donkeys, they have white strips or white patches. See, you will be able to see the white color or very easily in their body. The last population of Indian wild donkeys in the world is limited to the run of Kutch, Gujarat. So if we will see Asiatic lions is Gujarat, wild ass is Gujarat, then wild donkey is also about Gujarat. Now about the habitat. So desert and grassland ecosystem, because the area is semi-arid in nature, so desert and grassland ecosystem. Then about the conservation status. So IUCN is near threatened sites is Appendix 2 and Wildlife Protection Act is Schedule 1. So they have a good population in population number as of now, and that is why it is near threatened in nature. So as of now their conservation status is fine. Then comes the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary. Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary. So recently the Bombay High Court has issued a direction to the Goa government to notify Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary as a tiger reserve. So the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary will also be notified as a tiger reserve. So you can say that the next tiger reserve would be the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary. Tiger reserves are notified by state governments. This you should know, that the tiger reserves are notified by the state governments. The central government does not play a role in this. So it is notified by the state government under the provisions of the Wildlife Protection Act on the advice of the NTCA, which is the National Tiger Conservation Authority. So it is the NTCA which makes recommendation, and then in the end it is the state government which notifies a tiger reserve. Then if we talk about the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary, so this is the map of Goa. So Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary can be found in the northeastern side of the Goa. So this is the location of the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary. Then about the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary or the Mahadei Sanctuary, then it is located in the northern part of Goa. Then the major waterfalls that can be found in the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary, they are Vajra Shakala waterfall and Virdi waterfall. So one is the Virdi waterfall and then is the Vajra Shakala waterfall. So these are the two waterfalls which can be found inside the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary, and it is known for the nesting of the critically endangered long-billed vultures near Vajra Falls. So the long-billed vultures can be found in the Mahadei Wildlife Sanctuary near the waterfalls, and their status or the conservation status or the IUCN status is critically endangered. Then it has a diverse landscape with dense, moist, deciduous forest and some evergreen species. So the type of forest is the deciduous forest. The sanctuary is famous for its groves of rare and indigenous protected trees. So waterfalls is found there, vultures are found there. About the flora and fauna of the sanctuary, so that is with regard to, it has a rich biodiversity with many fauna including Indian gaur, tiger, barking deer, sambar deer, wild boar, Indian rabbit and many more. So these are the animals which can be found inside the sanctuary. Then it is also home to the big four venomous snakes. So the snakes are also found there, like for example the Indian krait, Russell's viper, saw-scaled viper and the spectacled cobra. So cobra, viper and krait. So you can say that the big four snakes are found there and they are venomous in nature. This is also an important point. Many bird species like the Malabar parrot, Rufous babbler are found here, due to which it has been designated an international bird area. So the Mahadehi Wildlife Sanctuary is also being designated as the international bird area because many type of birds can be found there, like for example the Malabar parrot and the Rufous babbler. It also represents an important habitat for tiger conservation in Goa. So tiger conservation is also there. So you can overall say that Mahadevi Wildlife Sanctuary plays a very important role. Flora, fauna, then conservation status of vultures, then you can say waterfalls are also found there. Tiger conservation also, it plays an important role. Next is about the geographical feature. So that is Goa's three highest peaks, that is Sonsagor, Talavache Sada and Vageri. They are also found here. So three of the highest peaks are also found here. And the Madehi river, which is the lifeline of Goa. So the most important river of Goa, you can say, is the Madehi river. So the Madehi river, which is considered to be the lifeline of Goa, originates in Karnataka and flows through the sanctuary and eventually joins the Arabian Sea at Panaji. So the Madehi river also flows through the wildlife sanctuary, and it is on the Madehi river that the name of the sanctuary has been named as Madehi Wildlife Sanctuary. The sanctuary serves as a catchment area for the Madehi river. Next comes the Bhitarkanika National Park. So it is about the Bhitarkanika National Park. You can also find crocodiles there. So recently an increase in the number of saltwater crocodiles has been found in Bhitarkanika. Important word that you should remember, that it is salt water, not fresh water. Very specifically, you need to remember these terms like salt water, fresh water. So it is the saltwater crocodiles. So an increase in their number has been seen. So this information is given on the basis of annual calculations in the year 2024. It means it has been done recently. Now about the saltwater crocodiles. So the saltwater crocodile is the largest of all crocodiles. So if we talk about the crocodiles, so there are different types and sizes of crocodiles which can be found, and the largest among all is the saltwater crocodile. Then it is the largest reptile in the world, known globally as a man-eater. So they are dangerous. So they are dangerous to the human because the human-animal conflict can take place, and they are large in size. So they can also cause a lot of damage, and they can also turn dangerous to the human life. Then in these, females are smaller in size than their male counterparts. So male are larger in size as compared to the females. Their length ranges from 2.5 to 3 meters. So you can imagine that they are huge in size. Look at this image. Looks dangerous also. This species is found in saline water because they are saltwater crocodiles. They are found particularly near coastal waters or rivers in tropical to warm temperate latitudes in the eastern India and the western Pacific Oceans. So it is the coastal waters or rivers where they are mainly found, and that is why they can come in the conflict with the humans. These species have the ability to communicate. So they can communicate with each other using a variety of sounds, including whispering, growling, and chirping. So it is through the sound making that they communicate with each other. Their habitat includes mangrove forest and other coastal habitats. So it is because they live majorly in the coastal areas that they can enter into the coastal areas, and that is how the man-animal conflict also takes place. Then this species preys on small insects, amphibians, reptiles, crustaceans, and other small fish. Now about the conservation status. So the IUCN Red List is least concern, so this is fine. Wildlife Protection Act 1972 is Schedule 1, so they come under highest security. Sites status is Appendix 1 or 2. So because their population is good in numbers, so that is why they come under the least concern. Okay, look at this image also. So the mouth which they open can go, so that is like the size that they can engulf is also very high or very huge. Now Bhitarkanika National Park. So it is the second largest mangrove forest in India. Second largest. So you can imagine that it is large in size after the Sundarbans in West Bengal. So Sundarban is the largest mangrove forest in India, and the second largest being the Bhitarkanika. Both areas are among the 3 major areas of saltwater crocodile habitat, and the third area being the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So first being Sundarban, second being Bhitarkanika, third being Andaman and Nicobar. So Bhitarkanika National Park is basically a network of creeks and canals that are fed by the waters of rivers like Brahmani, Baitarni, Dhamra, and Patasala rivers, and form a unique ecosystem. So they form a unique ecosystem, and the state in which they are found is Odisha. Then on the eastern boundary of the sanctuary is the Gahirmatha beach. Now Gahirmatha beach is very famous, and I think I should not tell you why is it so famous. Turtles, the olive ridley turtles. So the highest quantity or the maximum numbers of olive ridley turtles are seen at the Gahirmatha beach, and the Gahirmatha beach is very close to the Bhitarkanika Park. So on the eastern boundary of the Bhitarkanika sanctuary is the Gahirmatha beach, and which is the largest habitat for the olive ridley sea turtles. Then another unique site in this park is the Bagaghana, which is located near the Surajpur Creek, which is a Herorni, which is breeding ground of the water birds. So this is also for which the Bhitarkanika National Park is famous, that a lot of migratory birds come there. So a lot of migratory birds come there and they take nest there. They, for a certain period of time, they spend there and then they move forward. Thousands of birds reside in the bay here to make nests. So 8 species of kingfisher birds are found in the Bhitarkanika, and this park has been selected for inclusion in the World Heritage Site. So it has been selected for the World Heritage Site also. Next comes the Corbett Tiger Reserve. So the Corbett Tiger Reserve, Uttarakhand. So recently the Supreme Court has announced approval for the establishment of tiger safari in Pakhrau, Uttarakhand, in the buffer area of Corbett Tiger Reserve. So see, there is a tiger reserve and there are different areas within a tiger reserve or a national park or a wildlife sanctuary. And one of the area is the buffer area. So buffer area is like, see, imagine this is a national park or a wildlife sanctuary or a tiger reserve. So it has many layers, and these layers are basically with regard to the protection, how much protection the area possesses. So there is a area called the buffer zone or the buffer area, and among the full length, the buffer zone is the zone which has the highest degree of protection. So the Supreme Court has announced. So if the Supreme Court has announced, it means it is happening. Approval for the establishment of a tiger safari in the buffer area of the Corbett National Tiger Reserve. So within the tiger reserve, there is a buffer area in which the Supreme Court has allowed for the establishment of a tiger safari. Now about the tiger safari is an expedition to see tigers in their natural habitat. So it means that their natural habitat, within the natural habitat, the people can go and see and get the visual experience of tigers in their natural habitat. And safaris usually take place in protected areas such as national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. So protected areas are within the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Then with regard to its definition, so tiger safari is not. So tiger safaris are not defined in the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So within the Wildlife Protection Act, they are not defined. The act states that no construction of commercial tourist lodge, hotels, zoos and safari parks within the sanctuary. So within the sanctuary, construction of commercial tourist places are not allowed, and that shall be carried out without the prior approval of the National Wildlife Board constituted under the Act. So National Wildlife Board permission needs to be taken. Then comes that the concept of tiger safari was introduced by the National Tiger Conservation Authority in 2012. So NTCA introduced the concept of tiger safari and guidelines for tourism which allowed such establishment in the buffer areas of the tiger reserve. So it is after the 2012 that the concept of tiger safaris actually came to prominence, because the NTCA gave its idea so that in the buffer zone of the tiger reserves, the tiger safaris can be created or established. Then in 2016, NTCA guidelines allowed the establishment of tiger safari in the buffer and fringe areas of tiger reserve for injured, conflict or orphaned tiger. This stipulated that no tigers from zoos should be included. Okay, so from zoos, tigers will not be included there. Then in 2019, NTCA gave permission to bring animals from zoos for tiger safaris. So in 2019, the permission was given, which gave the Central Zoo Authority the right to select these animals. Then comes about the Corbett Tiger Reserve. So the location is Uttarakhand, district is Nainital. Then it was established in the year 1936 as Hele National Park. Hele National Park, and the objective was to conserve the endangered Bengal tiger. So the conservation of the endangered Bengal tiger. So the project Tiger was started in the year 1973 in Corbett National Park, which is India's first national park. So the first national park of India is the Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand. Then its core area includes the Corbett National Park, while the buffer zone includes the reserve forest as well as the Son River Wildlife Sanctuary. So buffer zone is a smaller area within the national park or the tiger reserve. They are bigger areas as compared to the buffer zone. Then the entire area of the reserve is hilly in nature and falls within the Shivalik and outer Himalayan geological regions. Hilly in nature because they are it resides in the Uttarakhand. Then the major rivers which flow through the reserve are Ramganga, Sona Nadi, Mandal, Palen and Kosi. And other protected areas of Uttarakhand other than the Corbett National Park, so that is the Nanda Devi National Park, Valley of Flowers National Park, Valley of Flower and Nanda Devi National Park are also under the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Then Rajaji National Park and Gangotri National Park. So these are few of the other protected areas of the Uttarakhand other than the Corbett National Park. So these are the topics which we have discussed in today's video, and that's all. So the topics, let me rewind once again. Corbett Tiger Reserve, then Bhitarkanika National Park, then Madehi Wildlife Sanctuary, then Wild S Sanctuary and Wild Donkey Sanctuary also, then Asiatic Lions and Gir National Park. So this was about the episode 5 of Environment and Geography. So for more information like these, we will be coming with more episodes. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.